I woke up early that Tuesday morning excited about the plans I had made for our 20th wedding anniversary. 20 years with Allison, the love of my life. I had already ordered her favorite Lily's made reservations at that Italian place where we had our first date back in college, and even dusted off the suit she always said made me look handsome. As I brewed our morning coffee, Allison walked into the kitchen, her expression unusually serious. My heart skipped when she said those four words nobody wants to hear. "We need to talk, Camden. Where are you watching from today? Drop your location in the comments, hit that like button, and subscribe for more real-life stories that might just help you avoid the painful lesson I had to learn after 20 years of marriage." Allison and I met during our sophomore year at the University of Michigan. She was studying psychology, I was in computer science. We bumped into each other at the campus library one rainy October afternoon. I had forgotten my umbrella, and she offered to share hers. By the time we reached her dormitory, we had exchanged numbers. 3 dates later, I knew she was someone special. We married young just after graduation. Everyone said we were rushing, but when you know, you know. We rented a small apartment near my first IT job, saved diligently for 5 years, and bought our first house in a quiet suburb outside Detroit. Allison worked as a school counselor until our son James was born. 19 years had passed since then, with Sophia arriving just a year after her brother. Both kids were now in college, James studying engineering at Michigan State and Sophia pursuing dance at Juilliard. Our marriage had seemed solid, at least to me. We had navigated the usual challenges, financial strains, when I was between jobs for 6 months, the loss of both my parents within a year of each other, Sophia breaking her ankle right before a crucial audition. Through it all, Allison had been my rock, and I thought I had been hers. We celebrated our wins together, consoled each other during losses. We had built what I believed was a good life. I guess that is why the signs were so easy to miss. Looking back now, they were all there flashing like warning lights. I simply drove past without noticing. About 8 months ago, Allison joined a new gym. Nothing unusual there, staying fit was something she always valued. But then came new workout clothes, more stylish and form-fitting than what she typically wore. Her schedule shifted with evening classes 3 times a week. She started attending book clubs, wine tastings, hiking groups, all activities that somehow never included me. Her phone became an extension of her hand. She would smile at texts, quickly turning the screen away when I walked by. Late-night conversations carried out in whispers on our back porch. When I asked, she would say it was just friends from her various activities planning their next meeting. I believed her. Why would I not? 20 years of trust is not something you question easily. I was busy myself, having recently taken on a leadership role at my company. Longer hours, more responsibilities. I chalked up our growing distance to the natural ebb and flow of a long marriage. We would reconnect once things settled down. That was what I told myself. So when Allison sat me down that morning of our anniversary and said, "We needed to talk," my mind went to practical matters. Maybe she was concerned about retirement planning or wanted to discuss visiting Sophia in New York. I was unprepared for what came next. "I do not feel passion in this marriage anymore, Camden," she said, her voice steady as if she had rehearsed these words. "I feel like we are just roommates now, roommates with a history." I stared at her, coffee mug suspended halfway to my lips. Roommates. After 20 years together, she nodded, tucking her newly highlighted hair behind her ear. "I am 42 now. So are you. Is this all there is? Going to work, making dinner, watching Netflix, then doing it all again the next day? I need real excitement in my life. I need to feel alive again." I set my mug down, coffee forgotten. "Where is this coming from, ally? If you are feeling disconnected, we can work on that. Marriage counseling, maybe. A vacation, just the two of us. Remember how amazing Maui was for our 10th anniversary?" Her smile was sad, almost pitying. "It is too late for that." "I have changed, Camden. I am not the same woman who went to Maui with you. People change." I countered, feeling suddenly desperate. Marriages evolve. We can evolve together. I have done a lot of thinking, she continued, as if I had not spoken. I care about you. I always will. But I need freedom to explore who I am now. I do not want a divorce, not yet anyway. The kids are still adjusting to college life. And financially, it makes sense to maintain our household. I am just asking for space. To redefine what we are to each other. Redefine into roommates. The word felt like sand in my mouth. Yes, she said simply. Friends who share a home. No expectations. No pressure. I suggested counseling again, my voice nearly breaking. Allison shook her head. She had already given this enough thought. Her mind was made up. After 20 years, 2 children, and countless memories, I had been friend, zoned by my own wife. For 3 days, I walked around in a fog. I slept in the guest room, unable to bear lying next to Allison, knowing how she now saw me. I called in sick to work, something I rarely did. My thoughts were a jumbled mess of memories and questions. Had she met someone else? Was there something specific I had done? Could this be fixed? Most painfully, how long had she felt this way while I remained oblivious? I tried talking to her again, but she avoided deep conversation. She was suddenly busy every evening with gym classes and social events. I noticed she had changed her clothes 3 times before leaving that Thursday night, settling on a dress I had never seen before. The truth revealed itself in the most cliched way possible. Allison had left her phone on the kitchen counter while showering. A notification popped up, the preview visible on her screen. Looking forward to seeing you tonight, beautiful. Last time was amazing. I had never snooped on my wife before. 20 years of marriage, and I had respected her privacy completely. But something inside me had shifted. With shaking hands, I picked up her phone. The screen unlocked with her birthday, the same code she had used for years. The messages were from someone named Jason. A quick scroll revealed weeks of increasingly intimate conversations. Pictures exchanged. Plans made. Sweet nothings that had once been reserved for me. One message from 3 days earlier sent ice through my veins. Told Camden, "We are just roommates now." He took it better than expected. Jason had replied, "Of course he did. Guys like that always do. Too nice for their own good. When are you going to tell him about us?" Her answer, "Not yet. Need to ease him into the new normal first. Besides, separate bedrooms means I can text you all night now." I carefully replaced the phone exactly as I had found it, then went to the bathroom and vomited. 20 years of memories flashed before my eyes now, all tainted. The woman I had built my life with, had children with, was not just seeking independence. She was actively betraying me. When Allison emerged from the shower wrapped in her robe, I confronted her. Not with anger, though it bubbled beneath the surface, but with direct questions. Was there someone else? Why not just ask for a divorce if she wanted to be with another man? To my surprise, she did not deny it. "Jason is my personal trainer," she admitted. "Yes, we have grown close. But technically, Camden, this is not cheating. How do you figure that?" My voice was unrecognizable even to myself. "I told you we are just roommates now," she explained calmly. "Roommates do not owe each other fidelity." I was honest about needing space and excitement. I could barely process the twisted logic. "So you expected me to accept being friend-zoned, so you could date your gym trainer with a clear conscience?" "I expected you to understand that people grow apart," she countered. "I still care about you. I do not want to hurt you. That is why I suggested this arrangement instead of divorce. We have history, we have kids. We have this house. I did not want to blow everything up." "How considerate," I said, the sarcasm foreign to my nature but flowing freely now. "And what am I supposed to do while you are finding excitement with Jason?" She shrugged. "Whatever you want. You are free too. We are both adults. We can live separately together until we figure out next steps." I walked away before I said something I might regret. That night was the longest of my life. I sat on the back porch until dawn replaying our 20 years together, wondering how we had arrived at this point. The pain was physical, a crushing weight on my chest that made breathing difficult. I texted my best friend Marcus at 6 in the morning. Need to talk. Marriage imploding. Marcus met me at a diner an hour later. Over bitter coffee and untouched eggs, I poured out the whole story. Marcus divorced himself 5 years earlier, listened without interruption. When I finished, his advice was simple but profound. She has already checked out Camden. You need to protect yourself now. She wants the comfort of your presence, the stability of your shared home, maybe even your financial support, while she explores with Loverboy. She has created a situation where she gets everything, and you get nothing. What do? I asked, feeling more lost than I ever had in my life. First, talk to a lawyer. Know your options. Second, decide what you want. If she comes to her senses, could you forgive this? If not, start planning your exit. Either way, find your self-respect. Do not let her dictate the terms of your life. I took his advice and called a lawyer that afternoon. While Allison was at the gym, presumably with Jason, I learned about my rights, the division of assets in our state, what steps I should take to protect myself financially. The lawyer was compassionate, but direct: document everything, secure important papers, consider my desired outcome for the house retirement accounts and other shared assets. That evening, I overheard Allison on the phone in our backyard. I had not intended to eavesdrop, but her laughter, a sound I had not heard directed at me in months, drew me to the window. He is taking it better than I expected, she was saying, presumably to Jason. Just accepted the roommate situation without much fight. You should have seen his face, though. Another laugh. No, he has no idea about us. He is too trusting. Always has been. A pause. Well, I am not ready to rock the boat with divorce yet. He handles all the bills, the mortgage, the investments. I need time to figure out my financial situation first. Meanwhile, I get to see you and keep my comfortable life. Best of both worlds, right? Something broke inside me at that moment. Not just my heart, which had been fracturing slowly for days, but something deeper. My perception of our entire marriage shifted. The woman in my backyard was a stranger wearing my wife's face. 20 years of what I thought was partnership had been reduced to financial convenience for her next chapter. That night, I made my decision. If Allison wanted a roommate, she would get one. But on my terms, not hers. Over the next week, I implemented what Marcus jokingly called the silent dignity protocol. I agreed to Allison's roommate arrangement with calm acceptance. I was polite, cordial even, but emotionally detached. I stopped asking about her day, stopped sharing details about mine. I cooked meals for myself, cleaned up after myself, and otherwise minimized our interactions. I moved all my clothes to the guest room, set up a small desk there for my laptop. I changed my routine, leaving earlier for work, returning later. I started going to the gym myself, a different one than Allison's. I reconnected with friends I had not seen in months. Joined a hiking group, took a cooking class. Allison noticed the change, of course. At first, she seemed relieved, perhaps even pleased that her plan was working so smoothly. But as days passed, I caught confused glances, attempts at deeper conversation that I politely deflected. She had wanted space, I was giving her an ocean of it. Meanwhile, I was busy behind the scenes. I consulted with my lawyer about the best approach. I opened an individual bank account and transferred my portion of our next few months of expenses, but left the majority of our savings untouched, for now, on legal advice. I looked at apartments and found one downtown not far from my office. Modern, one-bedroom within my budget. I paid the deposit and arranged to move in the following week. I reached out to both our children individually, asking them to meet me for video calls without their mother. These were the hardest conversations. I did not want to demonize Allison, but I needed them to hear about our separation from me first in my own words. Both were shocked, Sophia tearful, James angry. I assured them that whatever happened between their mother and me, our love for them remained unchanged. I was as honest as I could be without sharing the most painful details. 7 days after Allison had friend-zoned me, she mentioned she would be gone all day, Saturday, a day trip with friends that would have her leaving early and returning late. I knew this was my opportunity. That morning after she left, I called the moving company I had booked. Within hours, my essential belongings were transferred to my new apartment. Not everything, just what I truly needed. Clothes, personal items, my book collection, computer equipment, family photos. I left anything that could be considered jointly owned. On our kitchen table, I left 3 items: my house key, a letter, explaining my decision, and divorce papers prepared by my lawyer. The letter was brief and dignified. Allison, I have taken your request to be roommates to its logical conclusion. Roommates can leave when the arrangement no longer works for them. I have moved to my own place and am requesting a divorce. I deserve more than being a financial convenience while you pursue excitement elsewhere. I have always respected you, and now I am learning to respect myself too. I wish you well. Contact me through my lawyer, whose details are with the enclosed papers. Camden. I sent one text message once I was settled in my new place. I have moved out. Details in my letter. Please respect my decision as I tried to respect yours. Then I turned off my phone, ordered takeout, and sat in the silence of my new beginning. When I turned my phone back on Sunday evening, I had 37 missed calls from Allison, 15 voicemails, and dozens of texts. They evolved from confusion to anger, to panic, to pleading. The latest ones begged me to come home, said we needed to talk, that she had made a terrible mistake. I did not respond to any of them. Monday morning, I went to work as usual. Allison appeared in the lobby of my office building at lunchtime, eyes red and puffy. I suggested we walk to a nearby park rather than create a scene. There she alternated between tears and anger. How could I just leave? Why would I not talk to her first? She admitted her relationship with Jason, but swore it was over now. He dumped me when he found out you had left. She confessed, said he was not interested in complicated divorces or being anyone's rebound from a 20-year marriage. I listened without interruption. When she finished, I spoke calmly. You made your choice, Allison. You decided we were just roommates. You wanted excitement and freedom. Now you have it. I am simply making my own choice now. But I made a mistake. People make mistakes, Camden. 20 years together has to count for something. It counted for everything. To me, I replied. That is why it hurt so much when you reduced it to a roommate arrangement so you could pursue your trainer with a clean conscience. She reached for my hand. I gently moved it away. I need time, Allison. You took weeks or months to decide our marriage was over. You cannot expect me to reverse my decision in days just because your plan with Jason fell apart. So there is hope, she asked, a desperation in her voice I had never heard before. I do not know, I answered honestly. Right now I need to focus on healing myself. I suggest you do the same. I left her sitting on that park bench, her face in her hands. It was one of the hardest things I have ever done. 20 years of instinct told me to comfort her, to fix things. But 20 years of trust had been broken, and some things cannot be unbroken easily, if at all. The weeks that followed were a period of profound self-discovery. Living alone for the first time in 2 decades forced me to establish new routines, new ways of being. I learned to cook proper meals for one, to enjoy my own company, to fill quiet evenings with activities that nourished rather than merely distracted. I joined a support group for people going through separation and divorce. The stories I heard there helped put my own situation in perspective. So many different paths that led to the same place of heartbreak and renewal. I was not alone in my pain, nor in my capacity to grow through it. My children visited my new apartment separately. James was still angry, but now more at his mother than at me. I gently discouraged this. She made choices I could not accept, but she is still your mother and she loves you, I told him. Sophia was quieter, more introspective. "I always thought you two were the perfect couple," she said one evening. "It scares me. If you can fall apart after 20 years, what hope do any relationships have?" We had a long talk about how nothing is guaranteed, but that does not make love any less worth pursuing. 3 months after moving out, I agreed to meet Allison for dinner. She looked different, somehow smaller. The highlight had grown out of her hair. She had lost weight. "I have been in therapy," she said after our initial awkward greeting, "trying to understand why I did what I did. Why I was willing to throw away everything we built." I nodded but said nothing, letting her continue. "The therapist thinks I was having a midlife crisis. Classic symptoms, apparently. Fear of aging, grasping at youth, and excitement risk-taking behavior." She twisted her napkin. "But that is just a label. The truth is I got lost somehow. Started believing I was missing out on something better. Something more exciting than our stable life together. Jason seemed to represent all that excitement. In reality, he was just a selfish guy looking for easy conquest." "I am sorry you were hurt," I said, meaning it despite everything. "I deserve it," she replied. "But you did not deserve any of this. You were a wonderful husband, Camden. Faithful, supportive, kind. I convinced myself you were boring because it made it easier to justify what I was doing." Tears welled in her eyes. "I would give anything to go back and undo the damage I have caused." "We cannot go back," I said gently. "Only forward." "Is there any chance for us going forward?" she asked, the question hanging between us like a fragile thread. I considered her question carefully. "I do not know, Allison. I still care about you. 20 years does not just disappear, but trust once broken is hard to rebuild. I would need to see real change consistent over time. And we would need professional help, both individually and together." "I will do anything," she said quickly. "Whatever it takes. Counseling, transparency. Anything." "Let us start small," I suggested. "Separate counseling for a while longer. Then maybe if both our therapists think we are ready, couples counseling to see if there is anything to salvage." It was not a promise of reconciliation, but it was not a final goodbye either. It was the truth of where I stood 3 months into the most painful chapter of my life. Healing is not linear, and neither are the complex emotions that come with betrayal and its aftermath. That dinner ended with an awkward hug, neither of us sure how to be with each other in this new reality. As I walked back to my apartment, I reflected on everything I had learned about myself through this ordeal. I was stronger than I knew, more resilient than I had given myself credit for. I had discovered that self-respect is not selfish but essential. That sometimes the bravest thing you can do is walk away, even from 2 decades of history. I do not know if Allison and I will find our way back to each other. That story is still being written. What I do know is that I will never again accept being someone's safety net while they seek excitement elsewhere. I deserve to be a priority, not an option. We all do. Have you ever had to make the difficult choice between saving a relationship and saving yourself? Share your experience in the comments below. If this story resonated with you, please hit that like button and subscribe to hear more journeys through life's complicated moments. Sometimes the hardest decisions lead to the greatest growth. Thank you for listening to my story, and remember, you deserve someone who chooses you every day, not just when other options fall through.